Welcome to the News Hour. 2 ceasefires are on shaky ground tonight. Iran says the U.S. has violated its truce after the U.S. carried out what it called self-defense strikes against Iranian missile launch sites and boats. And Israel is escalating its offensive against Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Still, U.S. officials insist both ceasefires remain intact, and they await a response from Iran on the latest outlines of a deal to end the war. But at least publicly, Iran is digging in, accusing the U.S. of acting in bad faith, and Iran's Navy claims that dozens of tankers have passed through the Strait of Hormuz since yesterday, only with their permission. William Brangham starts us off.
Across the airwaves in Iran today, state broadcasters promised consequences for recent U.S. strikes that came in the middle of peace negotiations.
The Foreign Ministry, in a statement condemning the ceasefire violation by the U.S. terrorist military, emphasized that the Islamic Republic of Iran will leave no act of aggression unanswered.
And on the streets of Tehran, continued public displays of defiance, like this huge banner depicting President Trump's mouth stitched shut with a ribbon shaped like the Strait of Hormuz, claiming the U.S. had reached, quote, the breaking point. The U.S. military said it carried out so-called self-defense strikes last night against Iranian missile launch sites and boats that were attempting to lay mines in the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. said they were carried out with restraint in light of the weeks-long ceasefire. But some Iranians viewed it as more evidence that the U.S. could not be trusted.
Politicians should not pay any attention to America and their agreements at all, because they really go back on all their agreements.
U.S. officials insist the ceasefire is holding. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told reporters the strikes won't set back the peace talks, but he said the details could take some time.
Like anything with something like this, it's going to take a couple days to settle on, even down to the disagreements over a word, sentence. It's either going to be a good deal or there isn't going to be one.
Both Iranian and U.S. officials have cited progress towards an initial deal that would lead to further negotiations, including on the fate of Iran's nuclear program. In what amounted to a potential softening of his position, President Trump wrote on social media last night that Iran's highly enriched uranium would be, quote, destroyed in place or at another acceptable location, with the Atomic Energy Commission, or its equivalent, being witness. That echoes what Iranian officials have told the NewsHour, that they are willing to export their highly enriched uranium to the UN's nuclear watchdog, the IAEA, but not to the U.S. Still, there has been no public confirmation that Iran is willing to restrict its nuclear program, which it has always claimed is for civilian use only. As part of the latest proposal, there would be an end to all fighting, including in Lebanon. But Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered more frequent and heavier strikes against Iran-backed Hezbollah militants across Lebanon, despite the U.S.-brokered ceasefire there that remains in name only. Massive strikes overnight leveled entire blocks in southern and eastern Lebanon, killing at least a dozen people. Netanyahu huddled with his top military officials today and later announced that Israeli troops would be pushing further north.
Under my direction, the IDF is operating with large forces on the ground and is seizing controlled areas.
Israeli military officials said their operations will push past the so-called yellow line of demarcation near Lebanon.
All right, shalom, back with another video. It's gonna be just a quick little video. Iran says the U.S. acting in bad faith after strikes during peace talks. Okay, and you know, Spirit was on me to get into this, man, and what came in mind is a fork tongue. Okay, and let's get the definitions of that real quick. So it says fork tongue. Speak with a forked tongue, to tell lies or say one thing and mean something else, right? And this is what you see what's going on with America and Iran, okay? And this is just the characteristics of Esau Edom, okay? He says one thing, then does another. Okay, and you see this with Cuba. Okay, and they're coming to the realization. Okay, realizing that they can't trust. Okay, this devil. Okay, which is what's that devil's Esau, which is a so-called white man. Okay, they realize that this devil can't he can't hold his end of the bargain, as far as keeping the peace, right? Here you want to get these peace deals, but during the midst of that, okay, of this peace deal, you're bombing shit up. Okay, and there's been many incidents. Okay, this is not the first time, right? Plenty incidents within this time frame, okay, that America did this shit, right? So, and then going into history, okay, and I got pulled up, right? Even the Native Americans, okay, called the Europeans saying that they have a forked tongue, right? I'm gonna read this. This is forked tongue on the Wikipedia. It says the usage and idiomatic expression. The phrase "speaks with a forked tongue" means to deliberately say one thing and mean another, or to be hypocritical or act in a duplicitous manner. In the long-standing tradition of many Native American tribes, speaking with a forked tongue has meant lying, and a person was no longer considered worthy of trust. Okay, and that's just how Iran feels about America. Okay, because they have a track record of not holding their end. Okay, just like the holy the tiny hats, okay, which are Edomites as well. Okay, they have a history of breaking treaties, okay, and during a peace deal, okay, still bombing stuff up. All right. It says speaking with a forked tongue has meant lying, and a person was no longer considered worthy of trust. Once he had been shown to speak with a forked tongue, this phrase was also adopted by Americans around the time of the Revolution and may be found in abundant reference from the early 19th century. Author reporting on American officers who sought to convince the tribal leaders with whom they negotiate that they spoke with a straight and not with a forked tongue. As for example, President Andrew Jackson told the Creek Nation in 1829, according to one 1859 account, the native proverb that the white man spoke with a forked tongue originated as a result of the French tactic of the 1690s in their war with the request of inviting their enemies to attend a peace conference only to be slaughtered or captured. And that makes sense, man. Okay, this is the characteristics of a so-called Esau, okay, which is a so-called white man, man. Okay, this devil cannot do right. Okay, trying to get a peace deal with a wicked man, that's you're not gonna get it, right? Because that's Esau was created to be the wicked, right? Let's get a precept. Let's get it's Proverbs 16:4, I think it is. Right. This is a Proverbs 16:4. The Lord had made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. Okay, and if you don't know, the wicked is Esau, Edom, okay, which is the so-called white man today, starting with the top banking elites, right? So this is Malachi 1:4. It says, whereas Edom saith, we are in impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, They shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. Okay, Esau is Edom. All right, Esau is ruling today. Okay, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, for Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of the follow. Okay, so Esau, okay, which will be ruling, okay, in this time now, right? And how do we know that's the so-called white man? Okay, because who's running the world? Okay, who's on top? Okay, this says the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. All right, it's the white man controlling these top elites. Okay, there are Edomites, right? So they're the wicked the Bible speaks of. All right, and they were created, right? Let's go back to Proverbs 16 and 4. Yahweh had made all things for himself, yet even the wicked for the day of evil. Okay, so that's why Esau was created. He was created to be the wicked. Okay, so there's no peace unto the wicked, as the scriptures will say, right? No peace. Let's get there. Okay. This is Isaiah 48 and 22. There is no peace, says Yahweh, unto the wicked. All right. So you're trying to get this peace deal with Esau. It's not going to work. Okay. He was created to do the wicked. All right. And we're in a time of war. There's no more peace, man, coming to this place. All right. You can try to reach all the peace deals and all this other stuff. Esau shows that he can't be trusted, right? He might say he wants peace, but on the other hand, he has another agenda. Okay, so why you think that he's trying to make peace with you? He's over there bombing your shit up, or figuring out ways to run a scheme behind you. Right? So this is how this devil operate, man. Let's get Psalms 55 and 21. It says, the words of his mouth are smoother than butter, but war is in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. All right. So this devil, okay, that old serpent in the garden, right? The old serpent, the devil, okay, which that same spirit that was in that old serpent is in his so-called white man today. Okay, this serpent is very subtle, his deceptive ways. Okay, so he might come off like he want peace. Okay, but that's what it says, and his words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Okay, so you're not going to get peace, okay, with Esau. Okay, he's not going to. That's not what he wants. He wants control. He wants what you have. He wants what you got. All right. He wants you to fall in line with his agenda. All right. Let's get Jeremiah 13 and 23. Get this NLT. This is Jeremiah 13 and 23 in the NLT. Can an Ethiopian change the color of his skin? Can a leopard take away its spots? Neither can you start doing good, for you always have done evil. Right. So they were made to be the wicked. All right. So there's no change in that. Okay, that's why it says, can a leopard take away his spots? No. So Esau can't stop being the wicked. He can't stop breaking these peace deals or keep doing the stuff that he's doing, because he was created to do those things. Right? And you've seen, this is not the first time he did it to Iran. All right? He did it to, it goes hella history of Esau breaking treaties. Okay? He broke peace deals like a couple of months ago. All right. So, this is what Esau's doing, what Esau is supposed to do. All right. So that's why the Native American Indians, okay, they called this white man, okay, saying that he had a forked tongue. Let's read this. Literary usage. There are appearances of the phrase forked tongue in English literature, either in reference to actual snakes, tongues, or as a metaphor for untruthfulness. Okay, and there's no truth in Esau. Right? He's a forger of lies. Right? It says he had the art of cleaving. He showed it in the beginning when he made a serpent. Let's see. So that's just going to that. Okay, which that same spirit that was in that serpent, okay, in the garden, is the same spirit that's in this in Esau. All right. That's why it says the serpent was subtle, more crafty. Right. So, you're not going to get peace with Esau. Okay. Let's get one more precept real quick. All right, this is Psalms 12:2. They speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor, with a flattering lips, and with a double heart do they speak. Okay, and that's going into what you see what Esau did. Okay, they speak peace, okay, but they intend to do other things. Okay, they intend to harm. Okay, because that's what they were created to do. Okay, they were created to just like I said, Job 9:24, created the wicked was created. Earth was given to the hand of the wicked. Okay, Esau was given his power to what's that scripture? Take peace away from the earth. Let's get that. Take peace. Let's see if I can find that. Revelation 6:4. All right, this is our Revelations 6:4. And there went out another horse that was red, okay, and power was given to him. Okay, and that when you go into that red, okay, that's talking about Esau. Okay, remember in Genesis 25, okay, it tells you that Esau came out red all over. Okay, that's a sign who that's talking about. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. Okay, but here, you going back with the devil about peace deals, peace treaties that he can't keep. Okay, promises that he can't keep. Right? It says power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given to him a great sword. Okay, that's talking about Esau. Okay, because if you know the history, okay, Esau's blessing was the sword. All right. So that's what that's talking about. Okay, it was given to him to take peace from the earth. All right. So that's all I got through the spirit. I think I'm gonna label this forked tongue. Hope this video was edifying. I'm gonna say shalom.